Dana White confirms Khamzat Chimaev is next.
Dricus Khamzat is a pretty big fight that you guys could put on right now.
Yeah.
I would give DDP the advantage over Khamzat right now.
Khamzat Chimaev, did he do enough in that fight against Robert Whitaker, who I thought looked incredible, to get the title fight against Dricus?
Yeah, he looked incredible. There's no doubt about it. He is deserving of a title shot.
I think he beats both of them. I do. I think Dricus would be the harder opponent of Sean and him, just because if Dricus survives, Dricus is just good at surviving, at being there.
Dana White has locked it in. Khamzat Chimaev will face off against Dricus Du Plessis in a massive showdown. 2 warriors, 1 cage, and a battle that could shake up the division, while Joe Rogan predicts it as the most brutal fight for both fighters.
Dana White confirms Khamzat Chimaev is next. Yeah.
That's
Before
fun.
the fight, though.
I wonder where that is. That's got to be Vegas,
I'll
right?
tell you, Khamzat? No,
Saudi
that's
Arabia.
going to be in Saudi Arabia.
You think so? I think he's got a UAE passport now, and I think he gets
maybe
into
and then
America.
Trump, yeah.
Yeah, I think he gets into America now. I mean, it's not like Shara Bullet, probably never going to fight in America. You can't let a one-eyed fighter.
You can't have one-eyed fighter.
Apparently, the UAE is having a problem with it too.
When it comes to analyzing fighters, Joe Rogan always keeps it real, and when discussing Khamzat Chimaev, he breaks down Chimaev's relentless seek and destroy fighting style, but he also believes it needs some fine-tuning, especially if he's facing elite opponents like DDP.
We know a lot about Khamzat. We know that, first of all, that style, that seek and destroy, throw yourself into the fire style, it needs a little tweaking.
Yeah.
If you're gonna fight Usman, it needs a little tweaking.
Guys,
yeah, you're not gonna just steamroll everybody, because he went through 4 fights in the UFC and was only hit twice. I mean, of course the guy's confident.
Yeah,
of course
incredible.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah,
Incredible.
he said his right hand breaks mountains.
Joe Rogan has praised Khamzat Chimaev, not just for his power and aggression, but for his fight IQ, calling him the smartest fighter in the UFC today.
Snoop, the word is he's even better than you've seen. The word is by people who train with him, they're like, dude, he is a freak of nature. He's a freak of nature. He's really smart. He knows what to do. He's got sick timing. He's just like, he's got a super genius fight mindset. Like you watch him fight, he doesn't make any mistakes. He's had, I think he's had 3 or 4 fights in the UFC. He's only been hit twice.
He's that defensive?
He's just a swarm.
Wow.
He's just a swarm.
Meanwhile, American mixed martial artist Din Thomas thinks Khamzat Chimaev would struggle against UFC Plessis. Du Plessis retained his middleweight title by defeating Sean Strickland a second time in UFC 312 main event at Kudos Bank Arena in Sydney.
We've seen this with Khamzat, slowing down after the first round and a half. And I think that is because he uses so much power. He has the wrestling technique, of course, but he uses his strength as a weapon. And in this case, he has a gun and I have a tank when it comes to the strength. And we've seen him fading in fights. So stylistically, I think, especially the opening rounds, the first 2 rounds, it's going to be fireworks. I think it's going to be two absolute warriors in there, 2 bulls, and seeing who backs down first. But once it goes past round 2, if it goes past round 2, it's going to be smooth sailing.
Dricus Du Plessis has expressed optimism in his chances of defeating Khamzat Chimaev. Du Plessis stated that while the opening round with Chimaev may be challenging, the undefeated contender will struggle to handle him as the fight progresses. UFC superstar Khamzat Chimaev has been making waves, and even the legendary Mike Tyson has recognized his power and relentless fighting style.
Khamzat. Khamzat Chimaev. Okay. Colby Covington calls him cum shot. It's very rude.
Remember?
Does it say that, yo? He calls him what?
He calls him cum shot.
And Adesanya, he said that too on the show.
He has some issues that he looks like a nice guy, but he's kind of psychopathic.
No, he's
right?
a full psychopath. Full psychopath.
In a recent appearance on the Ariel Helwani show, Du Plessis was asked if he agreed with UFC analyst Din Thomas's remarks about the reigning champion overpowering Chimaev as their potential fight goes on to the championship rounds. Du Plessis agreed with Thomas's assertion, claiming that despite Chimaev's aggression in the early stages of a bout, he would be difficult for the undefeated contender to handle in a 5-round fight, saying, "Chimaev really hard to deal with in the beginning of the fight, but so am I." When you go that hard, when round 2, 3, 4, 5 comes, you still have to be there, and I've proven that I am there. If he wants to come out, I'm still gonna be there, like I was there in the first, ready to kill. In response to a question concerning Chimaev's intimidating nature before a fight, Du Plessis cited the 30-year-old's past octagon encounters with Kamaru Usman and Gilbert Burns, where the two welterweights performed admirably, stating, "If you look at a guy like Kamaru Usman, what he did with Khamzat on 10 days notice, you look at Gilbert Burns. Those guys don't get intimidated by people screaming, 'I smash, I smash.' That is not how it works." Dricus Du Plessis and Khamzat Chimaev are expected to face each other after securing dominant victories over Sean Strickland and Robert Whittaker at UFC 312 and UFC 308, respectively. Din Thomas backed Du Plessis to come out victorious in a potential clash against Chimaev and said, "I think Khamzat is a sprinter. You can't fight championship level fights for 5 rounds at the pace where he's at his best. If he fights like that at his best, I think Dricus is so durable and he's so smart that he'll be able to withstand that. Now they're swimming in deep water, and Khamzat can't swim that deep. Let's say he does pace himself a little better. Dricus will just pour it on him, so I think that pacing is a big factor." Dana White confirming Khamzat Chimaev versus Dricus Du Plessis. Chimaev is going all out in his training camp to make a statement. Known for his relentless wrestling, pressure, and power, Khamzat is sharpening every aspect of his game to take on the South African champion. On the other hand, Dricus Du Plessis is known for his unconventional and sometimes shocking training methods, which set him apart from many fighters in the UFC. His training focuses on maximizing endurance, explosiveness, and unorthodox conditioning techniques that often leave fans and analysts surprised.
Dricus Du Plessis' coach uses a cattle prod in practice and zaps athletes that are doing a technique wrong. The gym business is a very difficult one, and now you involve electrocution. And I'm just wondering, do I believe that that happened? Do I believe that that's real? Do I believe that that wasn't just somehow theatrics for television? I don't know from a marketing standpoint, just conceptually, if you could get anybody to walk through that door. Hey guys, I want to train here. Hey, I want to come in here. I heard you do great things. I heard you produce UFC champions. I heard you shock people with cattle prod.
One of the standout aspects of his training is his unorthodox breathing techniques, which he claims improve his stamina and ability to absorb strikes better. Moreover, Joe Rogan thought Robert Whittaker's speed and movement would cause Dricus Du Plessis serious problems, but DDP shut that down completely. Now, as Khamzat Chimaev prepares to face Dricus, Rogan breaks down the key factors: wrestling, endurance, and weight class advantages.
I thought Robert Whittaker was going to give him problems with that style. I really did. I thought Robert Whittaker, with his leaping in style, and he's like very light on his feet, fast as shit, I thought he was going to give him problems, and DDP shut that shit down.
I would give DDP the advantage over Khamzat right now.
Styles make fights, and you never seen Dricus fight. Good wrestler, and Khamzat's one of the best.
You got to think his endurance is probably going to be better at 85 than it was at 70 because of the cut for Khamzat. It's like 85 is really where he should have been all along.
He gassed out against Usman. That was at 85.
Usman's a world champion. In the third round, Usman did what a world champion does. He rallied, and then Usman's dangerous standing up.
Joe Rogan admitted that while he sees DDP having the advantage right now, Khamzat is a complete wild card. Khamzat, he shoots from 15 feet away and grabs hold of opponents like a nightmare, but he couldn't do it as easily against Usman and Burns.
I would give DDP the advantage over Khamzat right now. That's a bet on it.
It's hard to say because we don't know what happened to Khamzat.
There's so many question marks. We don't know.
Khamzat just shoots from like 15 feet away and gets a hold of your legs.
But I look
so
at the Kamaru. He didn't do that to Kamaru Usman. He didn't do it to Gilbert Burns. We go in the third, fourth, and fifth.
He gave Usman for the first 3 rounds a nightmare. He was
he was gassed
taking
out,
him down.
but he couldn't finish him. That's an older Usman.
That's true.
That's not a vintage Usman.
At the UFC 312 pre-fight press conference, White announced that the winner of Du Plessis versus Strickland 2 would take on Khamzat Chimaev. Chimaev is coming off a round 1 submission win over Robert Whittaker, and this was the expected announcement as the majority of fans believe he deserves the next title shot. There was, however, some doubt regarding that because of Nasruddin Imavov's huge KO win over Israel Adesanya, though those can now be put to rest. The fan perspective is that Chimaev is favored to win against either Du Plessis or Strickland, as it is believed that his grappling game makes him simply unstoppable. Despite the announcement being made just this morning, one of these 2 fighters already believed Khamzat was next in line. Strickland and Chimaev have been going at each other's throats online as they could face off in a potential title fight soon.
Do we have a message for Khamzat Chimaev?
A message? No. I mean, I'll see you when I see you. I hope we can make it in International Fight Week, a big one. I think he tweeted something. He actually tweeted, because when his tweets make sense, it's his agent, and when it's just like random English words in a certain, it's him, and he said this fight.
Former UFC champion Robert Whittaker gives his raw and unfiltered take on how he sees these matchups playing out. With sharp analysis and no-nonsense insights, he gives his take on who has the edge and why one fighter might have a much tougher challenge than the other.
I think he beats both of them. I do. I think Dricus would be the harder opponent of Sean and him, just because if Dricus survives, Dricus is just good at surviving, at being there, and if we've seen anything with Chimaev, is that he gets tired committing so heavily to his shot and the grappling transitions early in the fight. So maybe that plays out differently if it gets dragged out later. I don't see him having a problem with Sean though, like at all.
Wow.
Du Plessis wants Chimaev next and has opened up as a betting underdog in a potential matchup against the undefeated Phenom. Although Chimaev has torn through most competition so far, Thomas points to his 2 decision wins over Gilbert Burns and Kamaru Usman as a cause for concern. Thomas said on the Ariel Helwani show, "I think Khamzat is a sprinter. If you were to make fights in one 5-minute round, Khamzat beats anybody in the world, any weight class. But you can't fight championship level fights for 5 rounds at the pace where he's at his best. If he fights like that at his best, I think Dricus is so durable and he's so smart that he'll be able to withstand that. Now they're swimming in deep water, and Khamzat can't swim that deep." Thomas sees Du Plessis weathering Chimaev's early storm and dragging him to the championship rounds, where Chimaev has never been tested. He added, "I think that by the 3rd round, Khamzat is like, alright, I don't really know. This guy is not going away. Let's say he does pace himself a little better. Dricus will just pour it on him." So I think that pacing is a big factor. Like, we always talk about this cardio thing, but cardio is really just being able to manage whatever pace you have based on the skill set you have. Against Dricus Du Plessis, a fighter known for his durability and high fight IQ, this could be the ultimate test of Chimaev's gas tank and adaptability. Thomas explained that cardio isn't just about endurance, it's about skill and control. If a fighter has a limited skill set and gets forced into uncomfortable situations, they'll gas out quickly. He added, like, if you have a very limited skill set and you're forced to be in situations that you're not comfortable in, you're going to have bad cardio. But when you have a very well-rounded skill set and you can pace yourself better, you're going to have good cardio. That's really what it comes down to. Ultimate Fighting Championship, UFC middleweight champion Dricus Du Plessis defended his 185-pound title for the 2nd time at UFC 312 last night on February 8, 2025, dominating former division champion Sean Strickland en route to a lopsided and brutal unanimous decision victory. Immediately after the rematch, which took place inside Kudos Bank Arena in Sydney, New South Wales, Australia, Du Plessis assumed next opponent Khamzat Chimaev trashed UFC 312's main event, branding it Bulls. Well, once Still Knox caught wind of Chimaev's criticism, he gave him a piece of his mind. Plessis stated, "I'll see you when I see you. I hope we can make it happen at International Fight Week." When his tweets make sense, it's his agent, and when it's random English words, it's him. He called it Bulls. T-fight. Well, try and get to a fight. He couldn't get the welterweight title. Definitely not getting the middleweight title. Talk about a waste of potential. UFC's reigning and defending middleweight kingpin certainly has a way with words. They cut deep. He probably won't make Chimaev cry like he did with Israel Adesanya and Strickland, but it won't be because of a lack of effort between now and whenever Chimaev is cleared for landing stateside. Nevertheless, Du Plessis is still unbeaten inside the octagon and is riding an 11-fight win streak. The chaotic South African bruiser will be waiting for Chimaev, who is coming off an impressive quick win over Robert Whittaker. The middleweight division is heating up, and Sean O'Malley has some strong opinions on how things could play out between Dricus Du Plessis and Khamzat Chimaev. O'Malley discussed potential matchups, strengths, and weaknesses, and even hinted at how DDP might be the one to bring back the wild side of Khamzat.
Because I remember DDP getting taken down before in fights, right?
Yeah, but it's always a dog fight. Keeping DDP down is a different story.
But
God, imagine Khamzat goes out there and makes it look easy.
Well, he's gonna do the same probably thing to everyone. He shoots so
within 5 seconds.
Yeah, he's on their back.
O'Malley acknowledged that DDP is one of the strongest middleweights, but noted that Chimaev's wrestling is a nightmare for anyone. He pointed out that Khamzat couldn't easily take down DDP, who has a thick frame and strong neck, similar to Strickland.
If there's anyone that can match up stylistically with Khamzat for strength, DDP is probably one of the strongest middleweights in the division. He's showed that he could have cardio if it goes later, but it's going to be surviving that initial onslaught versus Khamzat, which is always that struggle. And whether or not he can defend against that is yet to be shown.
This is one of the most exciting middleweight matchups, where strength, endurance, and early aggression will be the deciding factors. If Khamzat imposes his game early, taking DDP down within seconds like he usually does, it could be a long night for the South African. But if DDP survives the early storm, his strength, durability, and cardio could turn the tide.
I would love to see Khamzat versus Strickland too. Khamzat said in training, I submitted him multiple times. In a fight, it's a little different. And Strickland, you've seen Strickland get dumped before. He is an expert at getting up. He's really good wrestling, really good jiu-jitsu. But just like you said, can you survive the first fucking 3 minutes with that dude? Gnarly.
That's fire.
I miss the crazy Khamzat, but now that he's getting into these top 5 elite guys, I mean, it's probably better that he's not crazy Khamzat.
Dricus Du Plessis is riding high after his thrilling victory over Sean Strickland at UFC 312, and the South African star isn't shying away from bold challenges. Fresh off his championship win, DDP has set his sights on Alex Pereira, confidently claiming he has what it takes to defeat the Brazilian powerhouse. But Pereira isn't the only fighter on Du Plessis' radar. He also took a jab at reigning welterweight kingpin Belal Muhammad. This all came at a time when both the reigning champions at 170 pounds and 185 pounds were eyeing double champ status. However, in the same interview, Muhammad made it clear that he had no intention of facing his close friend, Islam Makhachev. Instead, he saw middleweight as the easier challenge, particularly against divisional champion Du Plessis. Not everyone shares Muhammad's confidence, though. Surging UFC welterweight Joaquin Buckley, who has competed at middleweight, cautioned that moving up might not be the wisest decision. On his YouTube channel, New Mansa issued a stark warning. Belal Muhammad talking about how he wants to move up. He could be a double champ. Belal, I'm just going to warn you right now that you don't have the tools nor the weapons to beat a person like Dricus. You're not going to be able to take Buddy down. Belal Muhammad weighs in on his strategy to slay Dricus Du Plessis. According to Belal Muhammad, his relentless pace and technical prowess will give him the edge over Dricus Du Plessis, who's known for his unorthodox yet effective striking. The welterweight champ laid out a lengthy strategy in a social media post, even offering a round-by-round prediction of the fight. Belal Muhammad playfully broke down exactly how he sees a fight playing out, move by move. He envisions controlling the fight with precise strikes, takedowns, and even some mind games, mocking his opponent to throw him off balance. He wrote, I'd come out him with a 1-2, then he'd wing an overhand. I'll duck it, change levels, and take him down, then he'd shrimp and get the underhook to get out, but he'll be too weak to get up. So then I'll hit him with ground and pound for the rest of round 1. Round 2 starts, and I come out with a flying knee. He shells up, then I hit him. He gets up and charges forward, winging punches at me. I slide out of the way with ease, then hit him with a 1-2. The 170-pound champ believes he can wear down Du Plessis body with constant takedowns and fluid movement, setting him up for a submission finish in round 3. He continued. Round 3 starts and he's distraught. He can't hit me. He can't take me down, so then he tries spinning stuff. I back up at the right time, end up taking his back. He lets me under the chin out of frustration, then I put him to sleep. And new double champ. During UFC 312 Fight Week, arguably the biggest story is regarding the ongoing beef between Strickland and new #1 contender Chimaev. This is because Strickland believes that he will walk out of the event reclaiming the title, and he also knew that Chimaev was next in line before it was confirmed. The comments from both sides have been very distasteful, as Chimaev has gone as far as saying that Strickland's father abused him. Strickland responded with comments saying that Khamzat's family was forced to flee Russia, along with comments at UFC 312 Media Day. Sean continued this beef at the UFC 312 press conference. At the press conference, Strickland doubled down on his statements as he repeated that Chimaev isn't a man. He went off on Khamzat for starting a crypto scam and running off to the Middle East. Ultimate Fighting Championship UFC middleweight #1 ranked contender Khamzat Chimaev recently revealed that he is now an official citizen United Arab Emirates, UAE, causing many fight fans to speculate if this is a sign that Boers will compete for the 185-pound title in North America. And that's because it's been heavily rumored that Chimaev cannot enter the United States. But apparently, all of the rumors have been nonsense, according to UFC CEO Dana White. White told reporters during UFC Saudi Arabia's post-fight press conference, "Don't listen to any of that bulls. He'll get inside the United States. I'm very confident, and I'm very confident that we can get him into the country." Chimaev has not competed on US soil since he strangled Kevin Holland at UFC 279 back in late 2022. That wraps up our in-depth breakdown of the highly anticipated fight between Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus Du Plessis. This matchup has all the makings of a war, with Chimaev's relentless wrestling and Du Plessis' power and resilience set to collide in an explosive showdown. Will Chimaev's dominance continue, or will Du Plessis prove once again that he belongs among the best by pulling off another upset? One thing's for sure, MMA fans are in for a treat. Let us know in the comments who you think takes this one and how. Will it be a quick finish, a grueling war, or a shocking upset? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.